Hey everyone, Mr. MC here. This is Guy from Monza with the Chevrolet Corvette C7 Gr. Let's get this started. Bring yourself to the left, and your first braking point is going to be just before you reach the 150 meter board. You're going to be braking hard for a while, and you eventually want to turn in just as you pass the 50 meter board. You want to ease off of the brakes as you turn in and make sure your left wheels do not make contact with the yellow curb. Slowly accelerate, then do a very quick burst of braking. Let the car do the rotation, and you want to be extra careful when you start to accelerate because it is really easy for the car to generate wheel spin and lose control. Take this right turn flat out. Just stick as close as you can to the right side of the track. Stay on the right side of the track, and your next braking point is just before you reach this path that is on the right. Brake hard for a short while, turn in just after you pass the 50 meter board, and slowly ease off of the brakes. Make sure your right wheels do not make contact with this yellow curb, and once you clear this first turn, you can slowly accelerate, go up to third gear for more stability, and make sure your left wheels do not make contact with the yellow curb. And once again, you can go on third gear for a bit more stability. Then your next braking point is just after you pass the 50 meter board. Brake hard for a short moment and slowly ease off of the brakes as you turn in. Nice and easy on the throttle, try to avoid the green stuff on the left. And your next braking point is before you reach the 50 meter board. Brake hard for a short moment, slowly ease off of the brakes and take advantage of the inside of the turn. Once again, try to avoid touching the green stuff and avoid touching the gravel. Bring yourself to the right side of the track, and you're going to look for a path that is on the right as you want to brake just before you pass it. Brake hard for a short while and start to ease off of the brakes and turn in as you reach the 50 meter board. You want to take advantage of the red, white, and green curbs. Use a little bit of throttle control, especially as you make this right turn. And once the car is starting to point towards the apex of this left turn, that is when you can start to fully accelerate. Try to avoid hitting the green stuff on the right as that will cost you a bit of speed. Eventually, you want to bring yourself to the left side of the track, and your final braking point is just after you pass the 100 meter board. So I'm going to brake just as I pass the 100 meter board, brake hard for a short moment, slowly ease off of the brakes as you turn in. Stick to the right side of the track, wait until the curb on the right is just about to end before you can start to gradually accelerate. Just bring yourself to the right side of the track and you are good to go. That is all for the lap guide. Let's go ahead and take a look at the strategies. 0.999, that's a pretty awesome time. But anyways, we are doing 10 laps at Monza. And yep, get ready because this is going to be Punt City and SR reset speedrun 80%. But anyways, so we're doing 10 laps here and we have the racing medium and hard tires available for us to use, and both racing medium and hard tires are required, so make sure you use both tire compounds to make sure that you don't get a 1-minute penalty after the race ends. And I need to make this very clear, whenever you're under someone's slipstream, please brake early. Since you're under someone's slipstream, your car is going to be going even faster, which means you need more braking distance. And because of that, you will need to brake earlier than usual. And that's especially the case with lap 1, turn 1, so brake nice and early, otherwise Punt City will happen, penalties will be handed out, people will be getting SR downs, and everyone's going to get really mad at you. But anyways, rant aside, fuel is a ×2, so you obviously don't have to worry about that. But the tire wear is a ×10, so tire wear is going to be a pretty big issue. And with the pit stop being a bit long here at Monza, you're pretty much going to be doing a simple one stop. So if you're starting on the racing medium tires, you're going to be on them for 5 to 6 laps, and then you switch on over to the racing hard tires and finish the race. If you're starting towards the back, you can start on the racing hard tires, use them for 4 to 5 laps, and then after that you switch on over to the racing medium tires and then finish the race. And well, that's pretty much it in terms of pit stop strategy. It's nothing too special. It's not as creative as the past couple of weeks, but yeah, so straightforward in terms of pit stop strategy. Your pit loss is around 8 seconds, so you obviously don't want to do a 2-stop. Just go with a simple 1-stop. And before I move on, I just want to show where the pit stop is. So it is just after the final turn. Just tuck into the right side of the track, and you're going to see the pit lane on the right. So you just drive on in and you're pretty much good to go. And once again, your pit loss is at around 8 seconds, so you're going to go with a 1-stop. And do be careful on your way out, because there could be cars coming in fast, so you want to make sure you don't get in their way. Just stick to the right side of the track. And if no one's coming through, then you can eventually bring yourself to the left side of the track. So Monza, there are a lot of high-speed areas, which means that there's going to be lots of opportunities to take advantage of the slipstream and bump drafting. If you're able to work with someone, it is possible to get yourself and whoever you're helping out to get away from everyone else. So for example, Grove and I were getting away from 4th place by taking advantage of each other's slipstream and bump drafting each other along the way. And if you decide to do any sort of bump drafting, you do want to be careful. Make sure you're not doing it in the middle of a turn. Do it when you're basically not turning. And you want to give them light little taps. If you give a hard tap, the game could consider that as a shunt, and one of you is going to end up getting a penalty. So if you engage in bump drafting, just be careful about that. Just do light little taps. And make sure you don't do any sort of bump drafting just before you reach a braking zone. So for example, right here, I'm getting ready to go for the bump, but we're coming up towards our first braking point, so I decide to back out of it. And remember, just as I said in one of the X guide videos, teamwork makes the meme work. So take advantage of the slipstream, take advantage of the bump drafting, responsibly that is, and help each other out. Do lots of teamwork. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about places to overtake. There's quite a few places where you can get an overtake done. The first big straight leading up to the first turn is a perfect place to get an overtake done. We're going to see Grove get the overtake done from the outside, taking advantage of the slipstream, and with his car being a high-speed monster. This next area is another place where you can try to get an overtake done leading up to the second chicane, but you do want to be careful because just like the first chicane, it's going to be a little tight, so you want to try to be well past them before you have to start to brake. Ideally, you want to be on the left side if you're going side to side into the chicane, but just try to get ahead of them as much as you can. For these 2 turns, you're not going to want to do any sort of overtaking. Just try to go in a single file line. Same goes for this turn. Then coming up is another place where you can get an overtake done along with the only penalty serving zone, which we just passed. Make sure you don't get a penalty because you're going to lose quite a bit of time and speed and you're going to get left behind. And you can try to get the overtake done right here leading up to this braking zone, but this one's a little more situational because you have to go through these small series of turns. If you can just wait until you reach this final straight leading up to the final turn. This is another great place to get an overtake done, especially on the final lap. Just try to bring yourself towards the right of where my car is, get the inside line, and that way you can try to secure a position and get an overtake done. And finally, cars to use for this race. You want to use a power car, so a car like the Chevrolet Corvette C7, the Aston Martin V12 Vantage, the Nissan GT-R. Those are just a couple of potential cars that you can use for this race. If your car can go fast, then it's probably a good car to use for this race. But anyways, that is pretty much it for me. Once again, this is a one-stop race. Make sure you use both racing medium and hard tires. But that's all from me. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. So this is Mr. CA wishing you a good race and hopefully no SR resets. And I'll see you in the next video.